Hey, so I apologize in advance if I look or sound or act kind of insane in this video because I am so tired. I am so exhausted. It's day one of four of a comic convention that I go to, and I did not get nearly enough sleep last night. I went to bed at like 3 in the morning when I should have gone to bed at like midnight, and I woke up at like 8, and it just no good. No good. But I decided might as well make the video and upload it so that way it's kind of, still on somewhat of a schedule. So this is going to be everything that I watched in February, and I can officially say that I don't think that I'm going to be watching another movie in the next half hour or an hour. However, I don't even know what time it is. I know it's not after midnight, but I'm not going to be watching anything after this. I'm probably going to go to bed. So without further ado, kind of broken it up into genres again. I'll start with a movie that I don't physically own. Three of these movies are ones that I don't have. I mean, I have one of them, but it's in a DVD binder somewhere, and I didn't want to find it, and I watched it on HBO Max anyway. So, whatever. Anyway, so I watched Killers of the Flower Moon on Apple TV Plus or whatever that service is called, and I really liked it. I thought it was very good. I mean, it's long. It's a very long movie, not as long as The Irishman, but still pretty long. Uh, so yeah, that was. I watched it over the course of a couple of nights, but it was very engaging. I didn't keep turning it off because I thought it was boring. I kept turning it off because I'm dumb and would start the movie at like 2 in the morning and then be like, oh yeah, I have like 2.5 hours left. Why did I do this? So, yeah, overall though, thought it was great. I mean, really, really good movie. I mean, Scorsese's been making movies for a little bit, and he's pretty good at it, I would say. Uh, which I would say segues into another movie that I watched this month, and that is Mean Streets, which was one of the first things that Martin Scorsese directed. Um, got Harvey Keitel, Robert De Niro. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I feel like I've said this before with other directors. I think I mentioned it with David Cronenberg. But it really seems like some of these people just had their filmmaking style like defined like right out the gate, because there were shots in this where it was like, you know, Harvey Keitel was sitting at a bar and it went to slow motion and like slowly pushed in on him while like the Rolling Stones were playing, and I was just like, this is a classic shot. Like, I mean, I guess it was probably the first time he did it in this, but like, it's just like, oh, isn't that exact shot in Goodfellas? That's wild. Not saying it's a bad thing. It's just crazy that like this dude's style was like already fully formed. Um, so yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. It is a more small time crime story, I think, compared to like the later on crime movies that he would make. I mean, I guess the other ones weren't like super nuts, but this was a lot more like neighborhood level versus like, I don't know, The Irishman or like Casino. But I thought it was really good, and it was crazy to see, early performances from some pretty legendary people. And I mean, I don't know if I've said this before, but a lot of people mention it. I also dig like 70s, 80s New York, just because it has such a crazy vibe to it. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's got its own kind of feeling. So it's cool. I don't know. I dig it. Next up is a movie that I've seen many, many, many times, and that is probably one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie, True Romance. I watched it earlier this month, Valentine's Day. Holds up. I mean, I don't have enough good. I mean, yeah, this movie's just amazing. It's so good. The soundtrack's great. The characters are great. You fall in love with every, not everybody, but you fall in love with Alabama and Clarence, and the bad guys are real bad, and the humor hits, and it's just a fun movie. I mean, obviously the characters are a little psycho. Even the main characters, they're a little psycho, but that's okay. That's part of the charm. So yeah, definitely highly recommend this. I mean, not necessarily like this version, although I do recommend this version. But I mean, just any way you can watch this movie, I recommend it. So yeah. And then, so those are crime movies. Now I'll move over to a little bit of action. And I watched the first 5 Mission Impossible movies this month. I have not watched 6 or 7, but I watched 1 through 5. And previously I had seen 1 and 2, and I had started 3, and I had never finished it. And so, yeah, in like the span of, I think it was a week, like 5 days, I think I watched like 5 Mission Impossible movies, just one every night when I got home from work, which was a little overwhelming. And it could be why I haven't watched 6 or 7 yet, because I'm kind of letting it settle. But yeah, I mean, really, like, Mission Impossible 1, I really enjoyed. 2 was okay. It was very early 2000s, like, kind of cheesy. Mission Impossible 3 was really good as well. I really liked, oh man, what is his name? I'm gonna feel like a jerk. God, he's good freaking everything. Philip Seymour Hoffman, he was the villain in part 3, and he did a great job. And then 4 and 5 I really liked as well. I think I liked 5 more than 4. But yeah, I am excited to watch the other ones. But I need to get a little bit of a break. So yeah, that's that. I realized very quickly that I mostly watched horror movies this month. So I'm gonna hit all my horror stuff, and then I'll finish out with the last 2 things that I watched. So on HBO Max, I watched Dracula 2000, which is a goofy vampire movie. It's called Dracula 2000. It's real 2000s. Yeah, like Johnny Lee Miller is the main character from Hackers. Gerard Butler plays Dracula. Christopher Plummer's in it as Van Helsing, which, pretty solid. He's probably the best actor in the movie, and by probably, I mean he is 100% the best actor in that movie. Jennifer Esposito is in it randomly. Omar Epps is in it randomly. Jerry Ryan from like Star Trek Voyager is in it randomly. God, I feel like there was another couple people that like just showed up and died. Shane West, he was in it for a scene. What's his name? The garbage person from That 70s Show. Danny Masterson, he was in it for a couple of scenes and died. And, good riddance. But yeah, I mean, it's not a good movie, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. Just because it's just so cheesy. I mean, there's definitely better vampire movies from that general time frame that I would recommend higher than this one. But, that's besides the point. I didn't watch those, and I could have. I decided to watch Dracula 2000, so that's the decision I have to live with. Next up, Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich. This is kind of a reimagining of the Puppet Master franchise, of which there's like 12 movies, maybe more at this point. I know I've seen like the first three. And then I think I watched like the sixth one, and I don't think I've watched any after that up until this one. And I do kind of want to go back and watch the earlier Puppet Master movies, but I just don't know if I would be able to make it through those, because I think they get not great pretty quick. But whatever. I like little puppets running around murdering people, and there is plenty of that in this movie. Although I will say, tonally, it's a little weird. It's definitely more on the comedy side of things, but then there's like weird serious moments that don't gel like as great, and then some of the humor isn't as good as it could be. I don't know. It's got an odd vibe sometimes, but overall I had a good time. And the design of the puppets is very fun, and they're solid gore. So, and it's got Thomas Lennon and Udo Kier and Barbara Crampton and a bunch of other people that I recognized. So, I don't know. Not much to complain about. I had a good time with it. Then I watched Scare Package, which is a horror anthology where each segment is like a different VHS movie that gets put into a VCR and they watch it. I thought it started out really good, and then it kind of fell off, and then it kind of picked up. It was kind of a mixed bag. I will say, one of the things that is really cool about this, though, is there is a special feature that is the last drive-in with Joe Bob Briggs episode where they showed this movie. So, kind of, to me, it's worth it just for that, because you get to see all of the Joe Bob segments and everything, and that dude was a huge inspiration to me growing up. I mean, I grew up watching Monster Vision and stuff on TNT, and I've just been really pumped that he's back, has been back for the last several years on Shudder, and now I think AMC Plus as well, or AMC. I don't know. I don't have cable. But I'm really pumped that he's back doing things, and so even if this movie wasn't the best, worth it just for the Joe Bob stuff, in my opinion. But this wasn't a horrible movie. I did laugh throughout. It's like a horror comedy, but I just thought the first segment was probably my favorite. And there is a sequel, so I'm gonna check that out and see if the sequel's any better. Then we got the remake of Castle Freak, which it really wasn't that bad. It was definitely different from the original Castle Freak. They leaned a lot more on like the H.P. Lovecraft mythos, which was really interesting. Just because I've seen the original Castle Freak like 5 or 6 times, so it was kind of cool to see like a new take on all of that. But I don't know, it was solid. It wasn't like mind blowing or anything, but I thought it was pretty fun. Definitely worse ways to spend an hour and a half, 106 minutes. Plus, it gets pretty crazy and cosmic horror-y, which I was not expecting. I watched Thinner, the classic movie based off of the Stephen King short novella. I think it was just a novella. I read it, but I don't think that it was like a long story. It's like 100 pages max. I've been watching this movie since I was a kid. I like it. Some of the makeup is a little iffy, but I thought that it's just fun all around. I mean, I'm always having a good time watching this, so this is definitely going to be a movie that I watch again. Plus, Tom Holland directed it, and that's always fun. I mean, he did Child's Play, Fright Night, bunch of stuff. So yeah, and this got a pretty recent. I think it came out this month. Shout Factory or Scream Factory release. So heck yeah, I will always recommend Thinner. Then I watched Wreck, the found footage horror movie with a supernaturally infection turning people into crazy zombies. I apologize so much for how much I'm yawning. I genuinely really apologize for that, but my God, I'm just so tired. But I wanted to make this. So I'm really just using the last of my energy to get this out. But yeah, Wreck, super good found footage movie. I mean, it's only 78 minutes long. I mean, it does not waste any time whatsoever, which is nice. But I also am a big found footage fan. I think found footage movies are pretty fun. And this was a cool take on kind of the fast zombie type thing that was really happening when this came out in 2007. So they put a cool spin on it, and the effects are good. And yeah, I mean, like I said, 78 minutes, like it goes. So then I watched Rec 2 for the first time. I have never seen any of the sequels. I bought the box set, so I have all four of them. And yeah, I'm pumped to watch 3 and 4. I liked this too. It kind of runs concurrently with the first one a little bit, like there's some overlap. And I mean, it picks up 15 minutes from where the second one or the first one left off. And this one's 85 minutes, so a little bit longer, but still not like, it doesn't wear out its welcome. So yeah, I enjoyed oh God. Huh. I enjoyed Rec 2 as well. I think one of the other Rec movies isn't found footage. This one is. It's either 3 or 4 where they it's not found footage, and then I think they go back to it. It might be 3, I don't know. But definitely interested in seeing how the series ends, because I think they're all directed by the same 2 people. I think it's everybody that's directed it was involved with the first one. So there should be a nice through line, I feel like, but I don't know. We'll see. But I liked Rec 2 as well. Not as much as the first one, maybe, but it was still not a bad movie. Then I watched Slumber Party Massacre 1 and 2. And the first one is a very fun riff on slasher movies, especially for when this came out in the 80s, 82. And it really cruised too. It's 77 minutes. But yeah, I really liked the first one. I thought it was a fun slasher movie. And I mean, the killer uses a giant drill, which is pretty inventive. And then Slumber Party Massacre 2, I watched that for the first time, and I've watched it again since. Slumber Party Massacre 2 is rad. It is insane, completely insane. And yet again, it's 76 minutes. So, it's over before you know it. But, the killer, I think, is supposed to be the ghost of the killer from the first movie. But for some reason, he's also kind of like Freddy Krueger, and he, gets in your dreams. But it doesn't seem like he can kill you in them. But he's there. He's always there. He pops up all over the place in this movie. And he's just a dope rockabilly dude. You can see him. Just a cool rockabilly guy with a guitar with a drill on it. And that's fun. And he's just singing and dancing and just having a real good time throughout the entire runtime of this. I mean, I think that it's poorly received, but personally for me, I had way more fun with it than the first movie. I had way more fun with it than I did with the first movie. To the point where I watched it twice in like a week. So and I would watch it again like now. I really liked Slumber Party Massacre too. Um, I feel like that's probably going to get thrown into my regular rotation. Um, I watched We Are Still Here, which is a fun ghost movie with Barbara Crampton in it, and it was pretty good. Yeah. I definitely really enjoyed the special effects and like makeup design for the ghosts. I think that was kind of cool. They're like burnt rather than like, I don't know, wispy or whatever, like you would kind of do for like a ghost. Like I feel like you when I imagine ghosts, it's always kind of like a cold type of vibe, right? Because hauntings make, things cold or whatever. This is the opposite. They heat things up, which I thought was kind of cool. Um, and it kind of takes place in like I guess the 70s, 80s, kind of definitely has that vibe. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Maybe not the best, but not something I was mad at when I watched it. I'd say it's 3.5 out of 5, something like that. If I had to put like a rating on it. Um, Watched Drag Me to Hell. Watched that the same night as I watched Thinner, so it was a double feature. Curses. Don't mess with people, man. Don't get cursed. You're gonna have a bad time. You're either gonna lose weight until you want to die, or you're gonna get drugged to hell. So let's be nice to each other, okay? This is a Sam Raimi movie. It's got Alison Lohman and Justin Long, and it's fun, man. I really, really, really liked it. It was PG-13. This also has the unrated cut. I watched the unrated cut, but like this is like as close to being R that I think Sam Raimi could get away with doing. It feels like a Sam Raimi movie. There's just gross goop flying everywhere. Lots of fun camera work. I don't know. I love Sam Raimi as a director. Um, and so, especially when he's working in the horror genre. Uh, and so, yeah, I Drag Me to Hell. It's great. It came out in the mid 2000s, 2009. So I don't know. It's in that general region of horror, and I think it's super fun. So I definitely recommend Drag Me to Hell. Let's see. Oh man, 4 more horror movies that I watched. Watched The Color Out of Space with Nick Cage. Um, I've seen this before, so this was a rewatch, and I don't know. I really liked it. Um, I thought that it was just really well done. I mean, it kind of came out right when Nick Cage kind of had his like renaissance that I feel like started happening in like 2016, maybe somewhere around there. This is definitely on the more recent side. 2019 is when this came out, but like I think Mandy came out before this. Um, and yeah, I liked it. I know that the director Richard Stanley it's come out that he's a garbage person, which really sucks because I like Hardware, which was another movie that he directed. So it's a bummer that that guy might not be the best. But I mean, I thought this was a very well done cosmic horror movie. It gets insane. Nicolas Cage seems like he has a really good time being in it. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. The special effects and stuff are just really cool, and there's some stuff in here that kind of made me cringe, which is hard to do. Then I watched Wolf Cop, just the first one. I have not watched the sequel titled Another Wolf Cop. I've just seen the first one. But this is fun. I mean, it was just a goofy werewolf movie. He's the dude Lou Garou, haha, play on Loop Garou. which I probably mispronounce since it's a French word. But, or, well, couple words. It's not one word. Whatever. Um, he's a cop, and he's an alcoholic, and he gets turned into a werewolf. So he becomes the wolf cop. And if that premise sounds like something you're into, then this movie is for you. I think even just based on the title, you'll know if it's a movie for you or not. So it's one of those. But it is a movie for me. Then another rewatch, Psycho Goreman. I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, I've seen it 3 times now, I think. 2 or 3 times. This is basically just like a gory episode of the Power Rangers, in my opinion. I mean, the main girl is horrible. She's a horrible person. But I think just the general vibe of the movie definitely clicks with me. And Psycho Goreman himself is great. And I've also seen the other movies that this guy has directed. I've seen Manborg, and I thought that was pretty fun. And on that DVD, there's a trailer for a fake movie, or I guess a fake trailer, for a movie called BioCop, I think. But the point is, if you've seen that, the makeup and character of BioCop come back for Psycho Goreman, which I thought was hilarious. And yeah, it's just a super goofy, over-the-top horror movie with tons of gore and awesome, awesome, awesome practical effects. Just lots of goofy creature suits, which I'm into. I mean, and they're goofy. Like, really goofy. I'm not kidding when I compare it to Power Rangers. So, yet again, I feel like you would know if it's for you. Last horror movie of the month was The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is based on that one chapter from Dracula where he's going from Europe to America. Or no, he's not. He's not going to America. I'm a big dum-dum. He's going from Europe to Europe. He's just going from like Romania area to England. Man, I feel like I lost some horror cred there. I'm blaming it on the fact that I'm really tired. So, yeah. But I thought this movie was really cool. The effects were very neat. It's brutal, and there's a lot of solid actors in it. The guy that played the Onion Knight in Game of Thrones, and he was also in Dog Soldiers, is in it. David Dastmalchian's in it, who is like Polka Dot Man in The Suicide Squad, and he's in Dune, and he pops up all over the place. Prisoners, The Dark Knight, I don't know. Dude's all over the place. I really like him as an actor, and he did not disappoint in this. And yeah, just a cool vampire movie that takes place entirely on a boat. So yeah, I definitely give this a recommendation, because yeah, there's some pretty gnarly gore and stuff. I don't know. I thought it was really cool. So yeah, I picked it up because it was like $15 at Target. So I was like, yeah, sure. And last but not least, well, actually not last, just the last movie that I physically have that I watched this month. It's Dune, the new one, not the David Lynch one, the Denis Villeneuve. I apologize. I want to get people's names right, but I'm not the best at it. And I do not mean any disrespect. This movie rules. I mean, I think that this is probably one of the best, if not the best, sci-fi movie that's come out. And I don't even know how long. Probably since the last movie that Denis directed. So what, that would be I think Blade Runner in 2049. I really like that too. So that might have been my last favorite sci-fi movie that's come out recently. Um, but yeah, I this movie's amazing. It's part one of a two-part story, and I've read the book, so they stayed relatively faithful to it. They changed a few things, but nothing that made me mad about it. And my God, does this just seem like such a fully realized universe? Like it just, yeah, it's hard to like put into words how I feel about it, just because it's like I watched it and I was just like, oh man, like it's like looking into another world, right? Like they really went above and beyond in just making everything awesome and fit the theme of the movie, and it's so good. And there's just so many good actors in it too. I mean, um, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, uh, Javier Bardem, you know, more that I'm forgetting. Uh, my God. See? See? I'm tired. I'm too tired. Thanos. I can't think of his name. I'm losing my mind. And Aquaman. Jason Momoa. How do I not remember these people's names? I've seen so many movies with these people. Oh my God. And it fell out. I'm I'm all over. Josh Brolin, thank you. Back of the Blu-ray. Not to mention Stellan Skarsgård, my man, Baron Harkonnen. Dave Bautista's in it as well. I mean, the list goes on. It's long. I mean, this is a 155 minutes, but it does not feel that way to me. I was engaged the entire time. I love this movie, which brings me to the final movie that I watched this month, and that is Dune Part 2. I saw it earlier today. That's also a long movie. It's about 3 hours, but like, I mean, to me in my head, it's not even a part two. Like they mesh together, and it's just Dune. You know, like I see it as just one movie. I think when that comes out on physical media, that's how I'm gonna watch it. I'm just gonna watch it as a chunk of like 5.5 hours of movie, and I don't care. I think that's the best way to watch it. Because I watched Dune, I think on Sunday, so it's still really fresh in my mind going into this one. And it's the new one's just it's so good. I mean, they changed some things yet again. Nothing that I got mad about. Um, just because there's so much in that book that like I mean, it would be a 4 hour movie if they wanted to include all of the little subplots and everything. I mean, I that being said, I would watch an extended cut if they did that of these movies in a heartbeat. I mean, I think that Dune is to sci-fi what Lord of the Rings is to fantasy. I think that they're both genre defining works. And yeah, Dune 2, 5 out of 5. I mean, there was a couple of points where it slowed down, but I never got bored, and it was necessary because there's just so much stuff. So yeah, Dune 2, highly recommend it. Go out and see it. See it on the biggest screen you can, because it's really like it's a whole experience, and I think I'm probably gonna go see it again, probably this week, because I'm on vacation from work, so I got nothing to do for a week and a half. So, well, I mean, I have something to do. I'm going to a Comic Con for the next 3 days. Yeah, 4 days. I mean, day one is down, but there are 3 more days. So, other than that, though, I got nothing to do. So I might go see Dune again. Um, and I might make a video, maybe on Sunday after the convention, just going over everything that I picked up there. It's not going to be movie stuff. I mean, there is movie stuff, but it's like art and prints and stuff rather than like buying movies. But hey, you know what? This is my channel, and I can do what I want. Uh, and yeah, I don't know. That's what I watched this month. Um, I kind of dig doing these videos, and they kind of make me want to keep watching things, so that I can chuck them on the list, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I'm probably gonna watch a lot of movies on my time off. So we'll see. Still waiting on a Vinegar Syndrome order. That's gonna have some pretty fun stuff. But yeah, that's all I got. Gonna upload this, and I am going to go to sleep. Yeah. Hope everybody's doing well. You know, don't be crappy to each other because you might get cursed. And if we've established anything, it's the curses suck. You don't want that. Don't get cursed. Don't be horrible to each other. Just be positive, you know? There's no reason to be a jerk to another person unless they're a jerk to you. There are some exceptions, but don't be a jerk to somebody based on, you know, you having bad opinions about things. How about that? Don't be like a racist or a homophobe or a transphobe or any kind of phobe. Don't be that way, you garbage person, if you have those views. That's unnecessary. You know, we're all just people. We're all just living. You know, we're just trying to do our best. So don't bring other people down. All right? How about that? I don't know. Controversial view. Don't be a bigot. Those are all my bones cracking in dust. Whew. All right. Talk to you guys later. See ya.